everybody, welcome to my video. Today we are going to make a fancy fold card again. Can you guys believe it? So I'm going to be using these two products and I'll talk about that in 1 minute, but two things I want to mention to you guys. First is when you place a $65 order with me or more this month before shipping and tax, and you use this host code right here, I will send you this stamp set for free. This is the Holiday Haul stamp set, and I'm pushing for a really big month and just trying to end the Stampin' Up! Year in a good place. And so I would love your help, and as a thank you, I would love to send you a free stamp set. So simply place an order with me, $65 or more before shipping and tax. Use this host code and you get the stamp set for free. And then don't forget that the buy 3 get 1 free designer series paper from the annual catalog is happening right now. So all designer paper from the annual catalog is buy 3 get 1 for free, which is super fun. So today what I want to do is make a fancy fold card for you guys, and you know I struggle with these kinds of cards, and this was no different. I should have saved all the cardstock that I wasted trying to make this card, and it didn't even turn out how I had wanted it to. Like the fancy fold card I saw and I wanted to recreate, couldn't do it, but I came up with my own. So I am using the Harvest Hello, and it's super cute. I love this set. And then from last year and from our annual catalog, I pulled this out, and I love this for the fall, and I love the sayings, and so these are going to pair really well together. I am also using the fall paper in the holiday catalog. So the Come Gather Together paper, I believe is what it's called. We're using this piece and this piece here, and then we're going to do some coloring and some stamping. So the first thing that you're going to need is a piece of cardstock. Now I'm doing a early espresso card, okay? So I have cut this at 5.5. So 5.5, and then we're going to cut this at 10 1/4. Okay, so 5.5 and then 10 1/4. So then we are going to score this at 4 1/4. And then we can fold it, okay? And then this is about 1 3/4 is where we're gonna score it next. But what I like to do, because sometimes when you fold things, I just like to make sure that it's accurate. So what I do is I just go by this line, and it is just about 1 3/4. So I can safely go ahead and score that. But just double check. If you're like me and you struggle with these kinds of things, it's better to double check. Okay, so now that we have this part, this is our card base. And it's a standard size card. So it's 4 1/4 by 5.5. You're not gonna have any issues there. So now what we wanna do is put a piece of Whisper White cardstock inside. So we're gonna do that at 4 by 5 1/4. Just like that. The next piece is we're gonna fold this piece over, and what we wanna do is add this to our panel here. So this is just 4 1/4 by 5.5. So it's really standard. So we'll just do 4 by 5 1/4. And this piece can go right here. It's gonna go flat because all of the pieces that we pop up are gonna be on the front of the card. So far, so good, really simple, right? So then for this piece here, we're going to add our designer piece. And this piece is going to be 1 1/2. By 5 1/4, and I love this piece that has all these colors. And so we'll add this piece right here, and again we'll do that flat, and then I'll zoom you in for all the stamping and putting this together. So we have it that looks like this. And for some reason, this piece looks to me, while I'm looking at it, it looks like it's at an angle, but it's not. I've double checked it. Okay, so we have that. So now let's do our stamping. So what I want to do is I want to bring my, this is pumpkin pie. And then this is, I think this is actually lemon lime twist cardstock. I pulled it out of my scraps, and I know that that is a color that we don't sell anymore, but you guys, I can't get over using it. So then what I'm doing is I'm stamping in Old Olive. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp 2 leaves out, and then we're going to stamp the pumpkin onto the pumpkin pie, and I'm going to do some coloring with some blends, which is really different, right, to do coloring with blends on colored cardstock. So I'm doing pumpkin pie here, and I'm going to use the punch to punch this out. Okay, so then I'm going to do one more stamping piece. I have 2 circles that we're going to put on the front of the card, and this will make more sense in just a minute. So the little one is going to have the sentiment on it, and I'm going to do that in Pretty Peacock. And the sentiment is coming from that second stamp set. So we'll just stamp this right in the middle of our circle. I want to get all this stamping out of the way so I can zoom you guys in, and you guys can see the coloring up close. So this circle will just, oh man, I got, must have ink on my hands. That's okay, we'll cover that up. So let's set that aside, and then let me zoom in and we can do some coloring on these pieces. So I'm gonna take Old Olive, and what I'm gonna do is take the dark Old Olive, and just with my tip that I usually don't use, the writer part, I'm right in the middle of these leaves. You can see I'm just adding a little bit right on those lines. I'm not doing a ton. And then with our light Old Olive, we're going to come in and we're going to color all of this in. And because our cardstock is a little bit thicker, you're not going to have to worry really about this bleeding on the sides or anything like that. Just like that. And then I will fussy cut these out because the punch does not cut those out. So then let's work on our pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is with my pumpkin pie ones, my blends here, I'm going to take the dark and I'm going to do the same thing. You guys have seen me color pumpkins now quite a few times. And I do pretty much the same thing each time. So I'm going to get that in the middle there. And then on these edges, I'm going to bring some color out. Now this is going to look really dark on this cardstock as we do this. But what you're going to find is it lightens up a little bit. So now I'm just going to take my light and I'm going to come in. I mean, it almost feels like, oh, what was the point of stamping it? Because the color really is really saturating this and is really dark. But you're going to see that it will lighten up. Pieces, and you can see that this has dried down and faded quite a bit, which is totally fine. And then what I'm going to do is just take some Wink of Stella over the top of all of these. And because these are blends, it won't reactivate the ink, okay? So now let's bring our card back over and we're going to finish it up. So what I wanted to do was put this circle here, and I'm going to try my best to cover up that ink smudge. I'm probably going to be able to cover that up, but maybe not this. So what I can do is just take my sand eraser. This is a little trick that I just have. This is a mono sand eraser. It's by Tombow. And sometimes you can get those little accidents that happen. You kind of erase them, basically. sands the paper and takes them away. And it's not perfect, but it's better than it was, so I'm gonna go with that. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna flip this over, and I want this on the edge. So I'm gonna add some adhesive, and a good amount of it to the edge here, like so. And I'm gonna go up a little bit high, okay? So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our pumpkin, and let's add this with some dimensionals. Okay, so here's the tricky part. I'm not gonna put this down quite yet, because what I wanna do is make this so it will stay closed, because you see what it does? Oops, you're not even on camera, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're not gonna put this on yet, okay? Because what I wanna do is create a tab that will hold this closed, because look what it does. Kind of flops up. So what I wanna do is have this piece here be right here, and then I want the circle, the small circle, to tuck above the big circle, and then to tuck under the pumpkin. So we're gonna put dimensionals on this piece as well, but we're gonna put them on the outer edge. So you sort of have to get all of your adhesive together first before you put everything together. So now I want this to be able to tuck here, and then this to tuck here. Okay, so we have that. So now let's add our leaves. We're gonna add one leaf kind of right over the pumpkin here, and then we're gonna tuck one leaf underneath the pumpkin, like so. Okay, so then we'll press everything down, and then what you have is a card that opens up. You might have to work with it a little bit. So this needs to go down a little lower, just the way that adhesive is. So this will tuck underneath just like that. And then it'll hold your card together. Super cute, right? And then it just opens up just like this. And then just press everything down. Make sure that's pressed down. Make sure this is pressed down. My cardstock here is still a little bit wet from all of the coloring and all of the Winka Stella, but it's super cute. And then it'll stay closed just like that. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this fancy fold card. They are not my cup of tea. They don't come easy, and I don't love them, but I sure do love the final card and the way it turns out. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. I will be back on Friday and Saturday to share with you again. I hope you have a great day. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and watching my videos. Here are 2 other of my most recent videos. I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will catch you in my next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.